like we kicked the nest. Grineer cruise ship has punched in. New target. Pulse turbine. Infiltrate, disable reactors, neutralize core. As long as that turbine is running, enemy is emboldened and our progress impeded.
I cannot do that.
Arquin slingshot loaded. 10-0 in the barrel.
Yes.
It's been a few months since Corpus Railjack came out with the Call of the Tempestari update, and I think it's high time that we go on record and say something that I don't normally say. Because, you know, this channel tries to keep things positive. We want to talk about things that work, we want to talk about builds that are still useful in some extent. But it's time to be a bit negative about the game. It's time to really criticize the game, because here's the deal. Corpus Railjack sucks, okay? I'm just going to say it right now. Corpus Railjack is absolutely horrendous. The problem with Corpus Railjack is that it's not Railjack. It's as simple as that. See, all the Corpus Proxima missions, they're not Railjack missions. They're normal missions with a side of Railjack. Now I get it. There are people who want a lot more ground mode normal gameplay in their Railjack missions, and that's cool. But what exists in Corpus Railjack missions is just simply too much. It's wrong. It's all wrong. Now at the present moment, it's like if you order a cheeseburger and you get the cheeseburger from the cashier and then you look inside the cheeseburger and guess what? There's like a smidgen of cheese. Is this a cheeseburger or is this just a burger? Is this just a hamburger? What the fuck is this? Corpus Railjack is exactly that. Let's take the defense mission. Railjack Defense mission. What do you think you should be expecting when you hear the words Railjack Defense? I don't know about you, but in my mind, I expect that I'm in a Railjack and I'm using the Railjack to defend the point. Whether it be by engaging cruise ships directly by invading them and therefore doing some ground activities, quote unquote, or potentially defending it from the outside and then also defending it from the inside and then switching back and forth from time to time. But no, the Railjack Defense mission is literally a normal defense mission with a very small amount of Railjack at the start. Why? Why does the crew, the entire crew by the way, have to go and defend the point? I don't know. Is this meant to be a Railjack mission? Or is this just a normal defense mission? To me, we already know what the solution is. Scarspear. See, in Scarspear, specifically the space part of the crew can complete one part of the mission, and the other part of the crew can complete the other part of the mission. That being said, in Scarspear there were things that made absolutely no bloody sense either. For example, the Railjack defending something that was invulnerable. But if we make the defense target for the Railjack actually vulnerable, I think we would have a perfect option. So, first off, let me just go through the different mission types that currently exist. Defense missions. Right now, the entire crew just goes in and defends a target and it becomes just a regular ass defense mission. You can do multiple waves, multiple sets of waves, and the entire time you don't use your bloody Railjack. This is wrong. This is completely wrong. Whilst part of the team defends the point, the Railjack itself should defend the ship itself. Because right now in Corpus Railjack the idea is to enter something like a pillar, a giant ass ship. So the idea would be, if you infiltrate that ship, the Corpus are like, oh shit, they've infiltrated our ship. Well, we can't exactly get in and knock them out necessarily. So how about we try to sort of divert them and blob the entire ship as well. Therefore you need your Railjack to defend the actual ship itself. Because in the end you can't really defend the point if the entire ship gets blown up. Exterminate. just haven't worked like the sentient anomaly missions. The Railjack needs to blow up a certain amount of enemies, whilst the team inside needs to kill a certain amount of enemies. So basically this becomes a skirmish mission. The team can choose to destroy all the space enemies first, and then all collectively go and kill the enemies inside the ship, which, in my opinion, is not that efficient. Or you do it both simultaneously. I've done this multiple times. Provided, of course, the person inside the sentient anomaly actually knows how to kill sentients, it is way faster to do both sides at the same time. Orphix Venom. I actually don't play a lot of Orphix Venom, because I don't really want to. But I suppose maybe if the Railjack could kill the sentients outside the ship, it would lower the amount of sentients that would spawn inside the ship. Having that kind of in-tandem interaction would be super duper good for a mission like this. Would be super duper good for a lot of these Corpus Railjack missions. At least with volatile missions, there is some rhyme and reason to the Railjack side of the game. And ultimately the inside game is not as long, so I'm not as worried about the volatile missions. I actually think that they are the best designed missions for Corpus Railjack at the present moment. But I reckon increasing the rate of engineers spawning, but then allowing the Railjack to potentially destroy some of the incoming engineering pods, or all of the engineering pods, and having enemy fighters and cruise ships hitting the ship itself to try and cause the engine to accrue the heat faster. I think that'll be very, very interesting. A much better way for volatile. Railjack Survival. It's absolutely horrendous, and here's how you know why. The Ambassador is a weapon that can only be acquired from Railjack Survival. You would think, as a person who enjoys a lot of Railjack, I would have the Ambassador. I do not. And I will not, because I do not want to play 20 minutes of survival when it's not Railjack Survival. When I hear the word Railjack Survival, I was getting ready to do a survival mission with my Railjack the entire time. But that's not what we have. This is once again a Railjack mission with a very small amount of Railjack, especially if you want to get the Ambassador. It's 20 minutes of normal survival, or a chance of getting a part, which means you're going to have to do an hour of survival to get a part, which means you'll probably need to do 4 hours of survival, but it's not Railjack Survival, it's normal survival, and I fall asleep within the half-hour mark. Railjack Survival has to be exactly that. It has to be that you can use your Railjack, and you have to make sure that your Railjack doesn't get blown up, all the while your mission is getting flooded with enemy fighters and enemy cruise ships. You need to be able to maintain your resources and manage your resources properly. Now, of course, battle avionics exist, and they are in fact really, really strong, and if there's a lot of enemy fighters around, something like Void Hole could finally get super duper useful. It is of course very useful, but I would like to see Void Hole be super duper useful. We have a lot of people who play using turrets. I think this will be absolutely fantastic for them as well. That kind of insane turret gameplay. I'm sure that's going to be a lot of fun for a lot of people. For me, not really, because I'm a battle avionics kind of guy. Fair enough, whatever, that's okay. Tons and tons of cruise ships, tons and tons of fighters. Actually have the engineer do something? Because again, the engineers don't really do anything at the present moment. And then there's Railjack spy missions. Right now, what Corpus Railjack does really well is have a bunch of extra sections existing simultaneously to the main space area. So obviously using those extra sections as different spy vaults I think will be absolutely fantastic. Hell, make it that there's still a bunch of enemies between the entrance of the ship, the extra ship, and the spy vault. I think that could be really, really good. It'll basically be like having a bunch of derelict towers. So that's the idea. Right now, these Railjack missions in Corpus Proxima, they're just not Railjack missions. This has got to be a top priority for any and all future Railjack content. With the Kuvaliches and the Sisters of Parvos, the Showdown missions. I actually found the Kuvalich Showdown mission to at least be a lot more interesting than the Sister Showdown mission. Why? because I actually had to use my Railjack and actually have a decent Railjack for the Kuva Lich showdown. Whereas with my sister showdown, it's really just blow off a couple of cruise ships and you're pretty much good to go. If this is the direction that DE wants to take with Railjack, I'm afraid Railjack is pretty much gone. And that's not something that I like to do. Now, of course, in the end, there's going to be a lot of people who are worried about playing solo. This potentially might make those missions way too difficult. Keep in mind, you do have commander intrinsics. Don't forget to level them up and use them. The commander intrinsics is precisely designed so that solo players still have a team. And trust me, the crewmen are really bloody useful. As long as you tell them to do the right things, of course. So even if DE were to finally do the right thing and do a Railjack Defense mission where you're defending the target in tandem with defending the ship with your Railjack, you generally speaking can rest assured that your crew, especially if you have a crew of 3, will be able to sort out the space mission while you sort out the inside job. So that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. There are also a bunch of other things that really tick me off when it comes to Corpus Railjack missions. For example, the fact that I can't just teleport back to my ship when I've done the part of the mission inside the ship at the present moment, because I have to go to the airlock at the very end of the ship before I can teleport back to my ship. I think that's a little bit insane. I'd rather just be able to teleport back to my ship as soon as the objective is done, or hell, whenever I want. I think that'd be fantastic, because the Railjack offers this one extra thing that makes the inside job potentially a lot more comfortable, and that's the ability to forge energy. I think that would be absolutely fantastic to have someone on the outside who is able to support us by literally forging energy. But I don't know, that's just my idea. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more WarFrame content, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Peace!
Team, stand by for offensive support.
Oh yeah, one more thing. Fix your damn affinity farm.